Hey, what's up? My name is Andrea Monet. I am a registered nurse. I work currently in the CVICU. I am an associate's degree prepared nurse, and I'm coming to you today with a video about nursing education. I recently decided that I wanted to further my education. I'm at the point now, I've been in nursing now for about 6 years. I worked multiple different specialties as a registered nurse, and I'm just ready to, level up on my providership. I'm ready to be a nurse practitioner like tomorrow, but it's gonna take about 3 to 4 years, and I'm okay with that. Part of making the decision, before we get into like the nit and the grit of everything, part of making the decision to like move on and become a nurse practitioner when I'm just still a registered nurse with an associate's degree was just that in the 6 years that I've been a nurse, I've had more good days than bad days, really. And that's because I truly love taking care of people, and I enjoy that, thoroughly do. And I primarily work nights. Every night is different. Some nights are challenging, but like I said, I have fewer challenging nights than I have had good nights as a nurse. I enjoy seeing people get better. I decided to move to the ICU because I basically, over my nursing career, let's backtrack. I started in med-surg at a level 1 trauma center. We used to get all types of sick patients on med-surg, and it was a good year for me to learn how to basically care for patients. After that first year, my second year, I went into intermediate care at that same hospital. Again, a good nursing skill development. And then after that, I ended up doing travel nursing, and I just kind of learned to think on my feet, move on my feet, pick up skills, working with all different types of nurses from all different walks of life and states and countries was very eye-opening. And then I decided to come back home, which is Florida, and settle down. And I started working with the healthcare system through a contract. So I was working PCU with that hospital, and then once my contract finished, I decided, you know what, I'm ready. I'm ready to move on to ICU and see what that's all about. And so once I got to ICU, I really did enjoy my time there slightly because it was cool seeing all the critical care patients. What made it a not so great experience was just, I feel like it was a learning environment where we were all still learning, because the nurses there really, none of them really had more than probably 8 years experience in that specialty. And so, once you have that kind of makeup to your unit, it's not really like a cohesive orientation and being brought into this world. It wasn't very complete of an education as far as moving into the critical care space. So I was living at the time in a bigger city in Florida, in Central Florida, and then we kind of decided to move closer to home. We live more in North Central Florida, so we came back to this area to be closer to our parents and whatnot, because we got 2 kids, me and my husband do. And when I came here, I came with the same healthcare system. Unfortunately, it's a very much small town vibe. And even though that healthcare system was here, it's newer here to this specific hospital, so they're still building, they're still growing. And I didn't necessarily want to have a repeat of what I experienced in the bigger hospital. So I decided to just come on to CVICU and see how, that was going to go. I never, even in nursing school, I never wanted to do cardiac. Honestly, in nursing school, I was considering doing psych. But then it was an incident where I was on a clinical and I seen the nurse manager get their arm broke, and I was like, oh no, psych is not for me, no thank you. Which is funny, because I'm actually considering doing mental health nurse practitioner, so we'll see how that goes. But neither here nor there. Coming back to this small town, going into the CVICU, I decided just to go for it, which was a great idea, because honestly, even with this whole state, Florida is behind in the advancements of healthcare. it's just it's a different shaping and molding when you can work with more experienced nurses who have those experienced eyes, and they have those what do they call it in nursing school, like those case studies, like that they can just kind of spit out for you, like things and patients that they've taken care of, and they're telling you about these stories of how they managed that patient. Like that really was gold. I feel like once I got to this unit, I struck gold, because at that time, all of the nurses there, like a good majority of the nurses there, have been there for 20 plus years. You know, it was a small unit. We had limited staff at the time, because it's been 2 years now. But all of them were very well versed in nursing, and they were very well versed in cardiac nursing, and specifically ICU level cardiac nursing. So I learned a lot. I'm still learning. I'm progressing. We're all growing and progressing in that unit, because now things are changing. You know, evidence-based practice is very much a practice that we're implementing in our program now. So I feel like we're all being kind of stretched thin. It's a little frustrating, because it just feels like I have all this knowledge and I can only use a small percentage of it because it's dated knowledge. And now we're moving on and learning new and adaptive ways to care for cardiac patients, which I'm not, knocking. I had a whole different flow of how I was taking care of patients, and it's been interrupted. So I was a little bit frustrated. But I'm getting to the point where it's like, okay, I'm working through my frustration. I'm really just going to settle down and embrace this change, embrace moving forward. And I'm happy where I'm landing at, So what made me decide to go back to school? So last holiday season, I decided to work an internal contract. My nurses who are familiar with internal contracts is basically your employer that you're working with has a floor that's in need, and instead of them enlisting like seasonal nurses, they also enlist seasonal nurses, but they also give the opportunity to their internal staff to like make extra money. So the goal of the contract was I was supposed to work one additional day a week. They would pay me a bonus of $150 plus my overtime, and at the end of the contract I get $2,000 as a completion bonus. I read the darn contract wrong, so ditzy me, I've signed up to work 2 additional days in addition to my 3 days that I already work on my CVICU floor. I'm now working 2 additional days on a med-surg floor. 3 weeks into that contract, I was like, oh no, baby. Oh no, this is not the med-surg I remember. This is not the med-surg that should be happening right now. It's just a lot of like stuff going on med-surg. Like those patients are really sick, and I feel like they're too sick for nurses to have 6 of them. It just is what it is. They're too sick for you to have six patients. But nonetheless, I worked the full 12 weeks. I completed it. I did it. It really drove home the point for me that you can't spend your whole nursing career as a bedside nurse for real. Like, I mean, all of us aren't looking to move on and to higher positions and roles, but me personally, I can't. Like, there's no, that 12 weeks aged me 10 years. 10 years, okay? I don't have another 10 years at the bedside on me. I got about 4 or 5, enough for me to complete this nurse practitioner's degree, and that's what we're gonna do. So that was the deciding factor for me to get back in school. And then luckily at the time, like, I was just getting bombarded by nursing education videos and people like going to Capella and finishing their degree in 12 weeks or whatever. So I was like, okay, let's do this. Like, I got this extra money, like my family's straight, our bills are straight. Let me take the time out to really focus here and get this done. Like 12 weeks, y'all say? Okay, let's go. So looking into Capella, decided to go with Capella, started the application process. Around the beginning of December came, and I'm on Capella's website like frequently, checking and rechecking my application the progress of everything. And come to find out, like, they were going to do a whole course program change for the year 2025. And I was like, okay, fine. Y'all probably hadn't changed it in a couple years. I understand. Everything evolves, right? Just like your ACLS, it evolves as more evidence-based comes out, right? So, okay. But the program changes they made for Capella, there is just no way for me personally that I was going to finish that program within the 12 weeks allotted for the term. And mind you, the term for Capella is like $3,600 to $3,700 now, which don't sound like a lot, but it is in the grand scheme of things. If you think like, okay, I get 12 weeks to finish 9 classes, maybe. Like, it's 9 core classes for the RNtoMSN. That's not including any electives that you may have to retake because they're old and expired now. So you could end up having to do like 15 courses in 12 weeks. Not saying that you couldn't. I can. So because of that, I was like, okay, I'm looking at this as a different aspect. 2 times, okay, I might be okay with, paying about $7,000 for a RNtoMSN. That's still a pretty decent price. I've attempted a BSN before, and I was looking to pay about the same for that degree, out of pocket at the time because I was traveling. And I was like, okay. I mean, just chill. But then as more and more like of the curriculum and the requirements came out to graduate for the RNtoMSN, I was like, because now, like, you can't choose your instructor with the RNtoMSN. Some of them grade differently. You can't. There's 80 credit hours required for the RNtoMSN, and also in the midst of me like applying for that program, I kind of made the decision after talking with many students that I wanted to go ahead and get my master's degree before moving on to my nurse practitioner, because I'm trying to get all of my theoretical classes out of the way in terms of my nurse practitioner degree. Like, I want to have a lot of that stuff, like just the general education courses done. I want to really focus on my core nurse practitioner courses when I get to that level of education. So that's what the deciding factor for me to just go ahead and get my master's degree was. So as that stuff was happening and I'm talking with other students in the Facebook group for Capella RNtoMSN, someone mentioned WGU. So I started looking into it. And then I also started looking at my hospital's like educational resources, and I was able to connect the dots that for WGU, my hospital pretty much pays for the entire degree. They give me an allotment of $10,500 for 1 year, for each year. So, and with WGU, per term with them is the 6 months term, and the 6 months cost about $5,500 roughly. So I get 2 terms basically for per year with WGU, working with paying through my job. So I was like, okay, that's like number 1 deciding factor. Number 2 deciding factor, I joined their WGU RNtoMSN Facebook group. Oh yes, honey. I'm talking about a supportive community, a community full of resource and just like camaraderie. It's like the Capella Facebook group. Yeah, good people, good, information. But the WGU RNtoMSN Facebook group is just like a community of people and individuals who are goal oriented and who are just willing to help each other out to get to our goals, to accomplish our goals. A whole different vibe. That was reason number 2. Reason number 3 for me was that they only required 36 hours for their RN to BSN, and then the MSN program is like 250, and a portion of those hours even are like not on-site clinical, they're like computer lab clinical. So that was another deciding factor too. And I think for Capella, their RNtoMSN was like 500 hours. So once I started doing the breakdown and cost of everything, like WGU was going to be more cost effective. It seems to me to be a more quality education because you're not feeling rushed to finish these classes because you have a whole 6 months to get them completed. And they just, I don't know. To me, it feels a little bit more achievable, attainable, and just feels like a better decision all around for me personally. So once that decision was made, we'll move on to the next video so I can kind of like walk you through this whole itinerary. I don't want these videos to be super, super long, okay? Matter of fact, no, let's just go through this. I don't, if you watch it, you watch it. If you don't, you don't. Shit. But, so once I made the decision to go ahead and go with WGU, I applied and my application fee was waived. The transcript request was sent out by WGU themselves, like they requested from the school themselves. I just had to sign a waiver. So I saved money on both of those, application fee and the transcript request. And then I did have to pay for a background check, which was like $65 through Complio, their compliance document center. If you worked, like when we did our RN license to do clinicals, you had to do like a whole compliance where you turn in your immunizations, you did your drug tests, you did XYZ, your certifications and all that stuff. Same thing, like Complio is just like a document verification center that WG works with, and also they submit those to your clinical provider, like whoever you choose to do your clinicals at, basically. So I did my background check through them, and then I kind of waited about 2.5 weeks before I was accepted. And then once I was accepted, they opened my enrollment, and I was able to go ahead and like submit my financial documents. And after that, it probably took them another week or so to send me over my transcript evaluation and my enrollment acceptance. And so, like 3.5 weeks took me to get accepted, enrolled fully, and get, on the path to starting school. So my start date is March 1st. Let's see if we can open this thing. My start date is March 1st. And, I'm sorry, y'all. This thing is not going to be right. Let's just go ahead and make this smaller so y'all can probably see a little better. So start date is March 1st, and I get until March 1st to August 31st. That's my whole 6-month term. And how it works at WGU is these are the courses that I have been outlined for my RNtoMSN, because what they do is you're on the path to be getting your MSN, but they're going to award you your BSN in the midst of. Because you would have to take these courses regardless when you were going for your RNtoMSN. So that's my program track. Like I'm RNtoMSN, but BSN track. So I have to take these courses first, obtain my BSN, and then they're going to, submit me for the MSN, and then we go on from life to nurse practitioner town. But for this first little snippet, so my transcript evaluation, I was able to transfer over 70% of the credits required to get my BSN. That left me with a total of 12 classes to take. 2 of them are, I guess, considered elective classes. I have to retake statistics because it's been greater than 10 years since I took it, and then I have to take pathophysiology because I've never taken it. And so the other 10 courses are core BSN courses. But these last 4 that you see on this list down here, these last 4 are actually MSN level courses. So I'm slightly nervous because, with MSN courses, the writing has to be up to par, because each degree you're building on your communication skills and your knowledge base. So they expect you to be doing everything at a higher level. I'm okay at writing. Sometimes I get long-winded just like when I talk. This is hence why this video is so freaking long. But let's run through these courses, and then I think I'm gonna get off of here and not have y'all on here all day. So once it got closer for me to start school, so I think this opened around the 15th, my orientation course. 2/15 it opened, and then I have to have it completed by, I believe today, 2/24. And it has to be done, and you have to pass it before you can move on to actual like taking your classes before your mentor will open any of your classes. So I finished that on the 18th. As you can see, my plan is to like highlight and put the date on the class once I finish it. That's done. I already passed it. When I passed it, this little P turned green. That just lets me know how many like assignments I had to take within the course and pass before I was considered passing the course. So this is now green on my student website page. And then these are the first 4 courses that I have to take with WGU. Now, as you can see, the term, the semester, however they have it outlined, they have like a general plan for you, but don't pay too much attention to this. This is just how they have it laid out in theory. You can move through at whatever pace you want to move through. So basically what happens is I have a program mentor that I communicate with weekly to check my progress and to, answer my questions and so on and so forth. So the idea is she's going to open up these first 4 courses for me, and I can work through them however I see fit. But I have to complete these first 4 first before I can then ask her to accelerate me into the next courses. And then once I complete those first 4, let's say, okay, it's April 5th. And I say, okay, I'm finished, all assignments are in, all assignments are passed to my program mentor. I'm ready to accelerate to, is it possible for me to accelerate to healthcare policy and economics? Let me go ahead and open that course and attempt to complete it. Open that course, complete it. Once that's done, then I can reach back out to her and be like, okay, that course is completed. I've done all the assessments. Can we open up professional presence and influence? And the only reason I'm saying I may move, so you can see on my transcript here that I already kind of numbered the courses in the way that I potentially want to complete them. I'm going to probably complete this course and this course after. So this will be my 5 and 6, because these 2 courses are the clinical courses. And from the Facebook group, I've been told like it takes a little minute for your compliance to come back, for your clinical site to get approved and everything. So I'm not expecting to probably do clinicals until like May. So, and that's fine with me. I don't, I work already. And I've got a pretty jam-packed schedule for March. I have worked 5 days, off 5 days, work 3 days, off 2 days, work 5. Like, my schedule crazy for this month. So I'm going to need a break from working. And I'm planning a vacation in April. So that's how that works. Finish all your BSN courses. The plan is to finish all these courses, these 12 courses in 6 months. And then once I finish those, I'll move on to my second term with WGU, another $5,500. And then I'll finish my master's courses. I might upload another video so that we can go through exactly what the master courses are. They haven't officially told me what they are, but just from me like reading some of their online resources, I kind of determined what they are. If nothing has changed, so we'll do that. So thanks for watching. I hope you follow me on my journey.